Most people over 60 believe they're losing muscle because they're not eating enough protein. But the truth is far more unsettling. Many aging muscles are starving even when protein is abundant, because the body has forgotten how to use it. If that sounds surprising, stay with me, because what you're about to hear may change how you think about strength, aging, and food forever. For years, we've been told that muscle loss is inevitable, that weakness is simply the price of getting older. So people do what they're advised to do. They add protein shakes, eat more chicken, lift light weights, and yet their legs still feel heavy, their arms still feel soft, and recovery takes longer and longer. Here's what I've learned after decades of working with adults over 50. The real problem isn't what you're adding, it's what's missing. Muscle doesn't rebuild just because protein shows up. It rebuilds when the right internal signals are turned back on. Signals that depend on minerals, healthy fats, and specific nutrients that quietly disappear with age. In this video, I'm going to show you how a few overlooked foods, simple, natural, and often ignored, can help your muscles respond again, recover again, and feel reliable again. Not overnight, not magically, but in a way that respects how the aging body truly works. And by the end, you may realize that strength was never gone. It was just waiting for the right signal. You know, there's a sentence I've heard over and over again in my clinic for more than 30 years. Doctor, I eat pretty well. I walk every day. I even drink protein shakes. So why do my muscles keep getting weaker? If you're watching this video right now, and a quiet voice in your head just said, "That sounds like me," I want you to know something important. You're not imagining it. After the age of 60, our bodies don't lose strength simply because we're getting old. They lose strength because of a silent deficiency, one that very few people ever talk about. And what's even more troubling is that most people are trying to fix the wrong problem. I've met countless patients just like this. They eat chicken, fish, and eggs almost every day. Some proudly tell me they never skip a meal and drink protein powder every morning. But when I ask them to stand up from a chair, they have to push off with their hands. When I ask them to walk a little faster, they lose their balance. Have you ever felt like your legs just don't listen to you anymore? Like your body is still there, but the strength no longer feels under your control? I clearly remember a patient named Martha, 72 years old. She told me the thing that scared her most wasn't pain, it was weakness. She said, "I'm afraid one day I'll fall, and I won't be able to get back up." Martha ate very well, better than many younger people. But when we ran her tests, the truth became obvious. Her body wasn't lacking protein. Her body had lost the ability to use protein. This is what science calls anabolic resistance, a condition that becomes very common after age 60. You can eat enough protein, even more than enough, but your muscles stop responding the way they used to. And here's where I want you to picture something simple. Imagine your muscles are like an old house. Protein is the bricks. But if you don't have workers, electricity, or cement, you can pile bricks at the door all day long, and the house still won't be repaired. What most people miss are the small biological switches, minerals, healthy fats, and specific amino acids, the things that actually activate muscle rebuilding. And here's the surprising part. They're not found in protein powders. They're not found in expensive supplements. They're found in simple, everyday nuts. I know, at this point you might be thinking, nuts? What's so special about nuts? I used to think the same until I saw what happened to my patients. A 68-year-old man named Frank came to see me with chronic shoulder pain. He had completely stopped lifting weights because even raising his arm caused pain. His diet looked healthy by modern standards. Low fat, high protein, no nuts, because he was afraid of gaining weight. I didn't prescribe more medication. I simply asked him to replace his afternoon cookies with a small handful of walnuts and water. 3 weeks later, he came back and said something I'll never forget. "Doctor, I didn't change anything else, but I can lift my arm again without pain." That wasn't a miracle. That was biology. After 60, muscles don't just need to be built. They need inflammation calmed, nerves nourished, mitochondria protected, and growth signals reactivated. And this is the key message I want you to remember right from the start. Strength doesn't disappear because of age. Strength disappears because the body loses the right signals. When you give the body those signals, the right minerals, the right fats, the right amino acids, muscles remember how to work again. I've seen it happen hundreds of times. Not just stronger muscles, but standing up more easily, walking with confidence, sleeping better, and most importantly, feeling less afraid of your own body. In this video, I'm going to share with you the nuts I believe are some of the most underestimated foods in modern medicine, yet among the most powerful for aging muscles. I'll explain why they work, who should use them, and how to use them correctly without backfiring. If you're at a stage in life where every step matters, if you want to stay independent for as long as possible, then stay with me. Because sometimes the path back to strength doesn't start in the gym. It starts with small, simple choices at your dinner table. And sometimes a handful of ordinary nuts can remind your body of something powerful. I'm still strong. Now let's slow things down for a moment and go a little deeper. Because when it comes to muscle health after 60, the real issue is not how much protein you eat. It's whether your body still has the tools to repair itself. I want to start with a nut that's very small, but incredibly powerful. The Brazil nut. Over decades of practice, I've learned that selenium is one of the most commonly deficient trace minerals in older adults, and also one of the most overlooked. Selenium doesn't make your muscles look bigger overnight. What it does is far more subtle and far more important. It protects your mitochondria, the tiny power plants inside every muscle cell. When selenium levels are low, mitochondria weaken. Your muscles begin to feel like an engine running on old batteries. You're eating, you're resting, but the energy simply isn't there to repair and rebuild. I once had a man in his early 70s who ate very cleanly, yet constantly felt drained. After adding just 1 to 2 Brazil nuts a day, he told me, "I don't feel younger, but I feel more durable." And that's exactly what aging muscles need most. Resilience from the inside out. But energy alone isn't enough. For muscles to work properly, they must receive clear signals from the nervous system. This is where cashews come in. Many older adults visit my office complaining of mild hand tremors, weaker grip strength, or movements that feel less coordinated. Most assume it's just aging, but very often, deeper testing reveals deficiencies in zinc and copper, two minerals essential for nerve-to-muscle communication. Cashews don't create dramatic strength gains. Instead, they help muscles receive instructions more clearly. I often tell patients, strength isn't just about muscle size, it's about timing. When nerves communicate efficiently, movements become smoother, steadier, and require less effort. Next, we need to talk about a concept that almost no one discusses, yet it affects nearly everyone after 60. Anabolic resistance. As we age, muscles stop responding to protein the way they once did. You eat more, but build less. This is where pistachios become especially valuable. Pistachios are rich in leucine, an amino acid that acts like a build signal for muscle cells. Without leucine, protein is like construction material sitting unused in a warehouse. What makes pistachios unique is that they're easy to digest, making them ideal for aging digestive systems. I once worked with a 69-year-old woman who told me, "I eat meat every day, but my arms still feel soft." We didn't increase her protein. We simply added pistachios at lunchtime. A month later, she said, "My body feels like it's cooperating again." That's leucine doing its job. But even with energy and signals in place, muscles can't heal if they're trapped in a state of chronic inflammation. This is something I want you to truly remember. Silent inflammation is the #1 killer of aging muscle. Refined sugar, industrial seed oils, and oxidative stress create a low-grade fire inside muscle tissue. When inflammation is present, the body avoids repair, because rebuilding in an inflamed environment is like trying to renovate a house while it's on fire. And this is where walnuts quietly shine. Walnuts are rich in omega-3 fatty acids and polyphenols that calm muscle tissue and reduce oxidative rust. I've seen patients improve flexibility without changing their exercise routine, simply by adding a small daily handful of walnuts. Not because their muscles grew stronger, but because the inflammation finally let go. Here's something most people don't realize. Timing matters just as much as food choice. Muscle repair peaks at night during deep sleep. Mineral-rich nuts like Brazil nuts or almonds are best in the evening to support this process. Activating nuts like pistachios, on the other hand, work better earlier in the day, when your body is primed to use protein efficiently. Eating at the right time doesn't mean eating more. It means eating smarter. And speaking of almonds, we need to talk about magnesium. Magnesium is like the spark plug of muscle contraction. Without it, muscles fatigue quickly and recover slowly. Raw, soaked almonds help improve magnesium absorption, enhance circulation, and increase oxygen delivery to muscle tissue. Many patients tell me they sleep better and experience fewer nighttime cramps after making this simple adjustment. Finally, there's a connection that's often overlooked but critically important. A weak gut leads to weak muscles. After 60, stomach acid decreases, gut bacteria change, and nutrient absorption declines. This is why the same diet becomes less effective over time. Soaked nuts reduce absorption blockers and are gentler on digestion. When the gut works better, muscles receive what they need to thrive. The body is an interconnected system. Nothing works in isolation. And once you understand that, you realize something powerful. Maintaining strength after 60 isn't about pushing harder. It's about understanding your body more deeply. If you'd like, I can continue with a section on common mistakes and food traps, a calm but powerful conclusion that inspires action, or convert everything into a polished, YouTube-ready script with pacing cues. Just let me know. I'm here to help you build it step by step. Before we finish, I want you to pause for just a moment. Take a breath and ask yourself one simple question. What would my life feel like if my body felt just a little stronger, just a little more reliable 6 months from now? Not stronger like a bodybuilder, stronger like getting up from a chair without thinking, stronger like walking without fear, stronger like trusting your own legs again. After decades of working with people over 50, I can tell you this with certainty. Strength doesn't disappear overnight, and it doesn't come back overnight either. It returns quietly when you start giving your body what it's been missing for a long time. Sometimes that change doesn't begin with a new workout. It begins with understanding, with awareness, with small, consistent choices, repeated day after day. And that's why I make these videos. If something you heard today resonated with you, if you thought of yourself or someone you love, I'd like you to do 3 simple things. First, click the like button. It helps this message reach others who may be silently struggling with the same fears you once had. Second, share this video with a friend, a spouse, or a family member over 50. You never know. It might be the encouragement they needed but didn't know how to ask for. And most importantly, leave a comment below. Tell me your age. Tell me what you've noticed changing in your body. Or simply tell me, I'm ready to take better care of my strength. I read far more comments than you might think, and your story matters. And if you haven't already, subscribe to this channel. Because here, we don't chase youth. We don't promise miracles. We focus on science, experience, and respect for the body you've carried through life. If you stay with me, I'll continue sharing what truly helps people stay strong, mobile, and independent, well into their later years. Thank you for spending this time with me today. Take care of your body. It's the only place you have to live. And I'll see you in the next video.